Alright traders, market update time. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, so let's have a quick market update of what I saw last night's action. Man, this last night's action is obviously creeping up and creeping up. And I tell you right now, guys, that the Dow Jones is still the weakest overall. We are still creating that lower peaks. It looks like it's still creating that lower trough. The Dow Jones is leading something here right now. Every other indices on the, I was going to say the planet, but but the Dow Jones, the S&P, the Russell, the Nasdaq. Dow Jones is the only one that's not at the highs. It's still creating lower peaks. That's what I wanted to start off with this market update. As this market moves and it's creeping up to newer highs and newer highs for the year, I want to tell you that the Dow Jones is still the weakest, and that is telling us something. I've been saying this for the last week, maybe even 2 weeks now, that the Dow Jones is still the weakest out of the whole lot, and that is leading us into something. I believe it's going to be a pullback, and I know that's gutsy right now, where the S&P, the Russell, the Nasdaq, they're all blasting up into new highs for the year, or getting very, very close to that point. So I know that's a gutsy thing, but the Dow Jones is still telling me something, and I've said it and I'll say it again, is that I have to stay weak and bearish on this market until the Dow Jones is above 18,000. If we do get above the 18,000 level and we close above it, in fact, it's actually not even the 18,000, I'll be precise, it's the 17,930 mark. If we do get a close above that level through there, the 17,940 level, and we get a close above there on good volume, then I will be switching to short-term bullish mode, because we are likely, if that happens, we will be racing to all-time new highs on the Dow Jones. That is my point. That is what I'm saying here. But for now, I am not buying this little short move on the high side on the S&P, on the Russell, and the Nasdaq, and that's what we're going to look into today. So let's actually bring up my charts here, and let me actually show you here. And by the way, guys, a lot of people look at my charts and then they have the charts exactly the same way that I have mine as well too. You know, and that's all well and good, but just remember, guys, that all my trading decisions, 95% of it is done from the price action itself, looking at the peaks and troughs, looking at the support and resistance levels, looking at the strength and moves. All these different things need to derive your trading decision based from the chart, and then use an indicator as a confirmation, or use the indicator as a confirmation tool to your using. So if you go back to my yesterday's video about when I got into gold, when I got into silver, or the SLV I got into, you can see that most of my decision was based on the price action, and then I used the indicator as a confirmation tool that it's a good time to get in. Make sense? So that's all I do say. Let's actually continue now. Let's actually go through this here. I put out a video yesterday saying that one of my mentors just recently, he came to me and he said, John, that 19th is likely to be, a cycle low, and this day right here was the 19th. He was spot on. I actually thought that we would get this sort of action happening on May. I even did a video about it, and yes, I did get that wrong. I'm not going to get everything right. That's just the way trading goes, and I'm happy to put my balls on the line because I am a trader, and traders make money and pigs get slaughtered. I'm definitely not a pig. The way that I called the market, the way that I trade the market is two different things. Meaning this, I will say the market's going to crash, but I don't just pile everything on and just say, okay, the market's going to crash. What I do is I trade my positions. I trade the positions smartly, so even if the market doesn't crash, I'm still doing well. I'm still am likely to do well. Make sense? So that's just the way that I say. Now let's actually continue here. So that's the 19th. Now my mentor, I also mentioned yesterday that my mentor said around the 3rd is likely to be a cycle high. 3rd to the 6th. So 3rd is obviously a Friday. The 6th is obviously a Monday of this month, June. Now, when we're looking at that price that day, this is tomorrow. So tomorrow or either Monday, my mentor is saying that's going to be a cycle high, and then we're likely to race down into the 14th. Now, is he right? As I said yesterday, I don't know, but he did get the cycle low right. He said the 19th is going to be a cycle low, then we're going to run up to the 3rd, around about the 3rd, give or take, and then we're likely to see a deep move on the downside, and then that's going to be a cycle low on or around about the 14th. So on or around about the 14th of June, that's where he's saying. Now, one of the things about our mentor, which is really different to most other people that I listen to, is they give price points. Well, this is likely to get down to 17,000 by the end of June, and so on and so forth. All this sort of stuff. This is likely to break up the new highs by the end of July, and so on and so forth. What my mentor says, he says, I don't know where this is going to be, but this is where wherever this is at that time, is likely to be a cycle low or / cycle high. So he said to me, I said to him at the start of May, I actually think we're likely to get a big pullback in May. And my mentor said, yes, we may, but wherever that 19th day is, I'm buying the market because it's likely to be a cycle low. And he was exactly right. So he doesn't give, one of my mentors doesn't give me price projections. He doesn't say it's likely to get here, it's likely to get here. He said, wherever this day lands in on that is going to be a cycle. So this here is a cycle low, which is the 19th. And now he's saying cycle high is going to be the 3rd, and then down there. So I don't know whether that's going to be true or not, but that's just what I'm seeing on the chart. So really interesting to see what the Dow Jones is doing, / with what my other mentors are saying as well too. So including Harry Dent. Harry Dent says if we do get a big pullback, then we could see, like a 10,000 point drop in 2 months. Pretty crazy, but anyway, let's just see. Who knows what's going to happen? With the whole COMEX being 50, I think it's 50 tons short on delivery. Limit up on gold if that's the case, and silver as well too. And apparently if that happens on gold, then what's going to happen is that's going to cause I think it's like 1.5 quadrillion. I think it is, from memory, 1.5 quadrillion derivative bubble right now. You've got that. You've got the Brexit happening right now. You've got potential interest rates. This whole month, guys, is one hell of a month. So hold on to your horses. And yes, someone said I have balls to be calling what I'm calling right now. And I don't care who you are. You need to have balls in the first place to be trading this market at all. Whether you're trading it long or short, you need to be, because no one knows, right? No one knows whether this is going to crash or no one knows whether this is going to go up. So you need to be trading. You need to have balls to be trading this in the first place. So hold on to your horses, because this month is going to be a rocky ride, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. And then that's going to extend into the rest of the year. So there's my little rant for today's little market. Let me know what you think about what I just said. I'd love to get your opinion. This is just my opinion. I may be wrong, I may be right, but hey, I'm out here having some fun, and I hope you're enjoying it as well too. Hold on to your horses. Let's get into the market update now. The Dow Jones 30, open, sort of even, sort of ran down, came back up and closed higher once again. You can see that this short-term momentum, guys, actually it closed above that resistance level there that I was looking at, and I'll show you that what I see on the hourly chart here. But noticing this short-term break of resistance is a short-term momentum break on the Dow Jones. And this is just the Dow Jones chart, and that's what I'm looking at. Let me bring up, say, 3 months worth of data here. So this is 3 months worth of data, and once again, I want to bring up my pen, and I want to show you that this line here. You can see this whole line through here, guys. And if I bring up my arrow, you can see that it's bounced there, bounced there, bounced there, bounced there, and held there. And now we're actually getting a whole bunch of area of resistance on that as well too. So that's basically what I'm looking at and what I'm actually doing, or what I'm actually looking at on the Dow Jones. And it looks like we're holding this level here as well too. So that's on the short-term momentum, and it looks like that we may be getting, if I bring up a line, and let me just bring up, say, a black, it looks like we may be getting something going on through there as well too. So that may be something. And if you can see that, you can see the resistance there, didn't do much through there, but it just held it through there. But now we're holding it through there. So that looks like it's in a bit of a triangle pattern formation, as you can see. So if I take everything off the screen and I use that as a trend line tool, you can see this whole trend line tool right through there. We've got that sort of, and you can see if I bring it up through there, you got that sort of action going on. So whether that's true or not, guys, I don't know. I'm just drawing some trend lines as I see fit right now. That could change, obviously, where it goes. You know, it's probably a lot more up through, say, it's definitely something going on through there, as you can see. Definitely something going on through there. It's more like maybe something through there. So anyway, that's a very, very interesting line to see what's actually going on. You got that point there, and this point here, and we've got this whole area through here. So that's definitely a line, sloping line. It's broken out of that short-term resistance, and now we're breaking up. Now, the one thing I kept saying to you guys, and I keep referring to, is that line chart. That line chart for me, guys, is definitely a chart to notice and take notice of, because it is a chart that is showing you what is going on. Now, as I said before, right, that you can see, and if actually you can see what's going on through there on this line chart. If I just bring that down through there just a little bit, you can actually see, oh, look at that. You see that? You see that? Let me bring up my arrow. You can see it has that point through there, and that's where it stopped through there on the line chart. Interesting, right? Interesting, and that's where the market is right now. So, but overall, guys, if you look at the overall, you have this low point, we come down, lower peak, and lower peak. So we're stair-stepping down. This is overall, guys. This is overall stair-stepping down. So we're still getting this. We're still getting this lower peak. We're still getting that lower peak on the Dow Jones charts. Someone said to me, I have balls to say that this is a weak market right now. Of course I have balls, but the thing is, I'm not just going to call weak market because I think it's going to go down. No, I'm saying to you guys, if you go back and look at this part through here, let me bring up my trendline drawing tools again. If you go back to this whole point through here, and we go back to the December through to January, and if you go back and have a look at that time, you'll notice the same thing happened in the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones was showing weakness where all the other markets were racing up to having all the other markets. That was actually creating higher peaks in those other markets and higher troughs, where the Dow Jones wasn't. But the Dow Jones right now is still creating that lower peaks, and then we got the big move down. Not only that, but if I squeeze my chart up, the same thing that happened over here as well too. What actually happened, we started getting these lower peaks and lower troughs where the other markets were. The Russell, the Nasdaq, the Russell, the Nasdaq, the S&P, what were they doing? They were all starting to step up higher and higher and higher and higher. That's what I do see. So when I say, guys, I am bearish on this market, I'm not saying I'm bearish on this market for no reason. No, I've studied the hell out of these markets for 12 years of my life, and I still study the hell out of these markets. And when you start to see formation patterns, well, like this happens, and like this happens, and you start to see it again, you cannot say that, oh, well, guys, this is just a coincidence and the market's going to race to new highs, when you start to get a clear pattern of something happening in the markets. When the Dow Jones is still showing weakness, we're getting this lower peak, and everything else right now, when you see like the Dow Jones and the Russell, the Nasdaq, the S&P are at highs, and that is happening, the market is telling you something. You just got to read it. And you look at the Dow Jones Transportation Average, where that's now creating like a bit of a bear flag, and it's broken out now. It looks like it's going to run down like that. I'll get to the charts, but I'm just showing you guys. I'm not one of these guys that's just going to jump in front of the screen and say, hey, I'm bearish because I think it's going to go down. No, you have reasons behind it. Now, does that mean I'm right? No, it does not mean I'm right. But I'm showing you that for the last 12 months, we've seen two continuous patterns. When everything else is running high and the Dow Jones is still lagging with that lower peak, it's showing you something is to come. That's all I'm saying. Again, it doesn't mean I'm right, but I'm just saying I'm calling what I see because of that, and also what I see on this chart. We created this lower trough. Now we're getting this lower peak, head and shoulder formation, so on and so forth. If we do break above this and we start to get a close above this, as I said before, the 17,030 for me is where I turn bullish, and then I'm likely to race to highs. But right now, guys, I am still bearish long term on this chart. Let's keep getting into this market here now, guys. Let's actually go to the S&P. The S&P, what happened to the S&P? You can see it actually had a nice little sort of slight higher close than it ever has before. In fact, it actually had a higher close for the whole year. So it actually closed at a high for the whole year. What do you think is going on right now? Now, I want you to think about the psychology here for a minute here. The market is quite smart. The market is very, very, very smart. The market has actually closed up through here. It's closed at the highest for the whole year. Do you think the market knows that everyone's watching these prices? Do you think everyone knows, like, oh my goodness, look, it just closed at an all-time new high for the year? The S&P, the Dow Jones is still creating lower peaks. Isn't, and if you look at the market, it's like, hang on a minute, the market should be going on. The S&P is creating new highs for the year, but the Dow Jones still creating that lower peak. Hang on a minute, there's something not right here. Something is not right here. And you start to get this divergence between the Dow Jones and the S&P. And now the S&P is at new highs for the year. What does the Russell say? Bam! Russell is completely just breaking up new highs for the year. And look at this. This Russell's just been bam, 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 all the way up. We'll continue to run up. What does that tell me? We're getting that divergence. That tells me we're likely to get some move on the downside soon. We don't know how much it is. And on the Nasdaq, I actually see where the Nasdaq is at this sort of resistance levels. I actually see the Nasdaq maybe even getting a little bit more upside, maybe a 1% more to 1% more move to the upside to get into this overall resistance to close the gap. So maybe we're going to get another move to the high side tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more moves to the high side on the Nasdaq, the Russell, and the Dow Jones, the S&P. Maybe we get that little bit more move up because this looks like it wants to close this gap here. But after that, guys, then down, down, down we go again. So tomorrow might be the last update we get on the overall market itself. So let's actually continue here. Let me go and have a look at, I'm gonna use the gold and silver chart here now. I'm gonna show you what I see here. This is actually the silver chart. Looking at silver, it was still at that overall long-term support level there, guys. If I bring up my SLV chart, as you guys know, yesterday I talked about where I bought the market. I'm in SLV right now. Long-term put option, long-term call options I got. And now I'm still at that support level. Bit of a nothing day on that. Look at the GOD chart. GOD is still at that overall support level there, showing a little support. So, who knows what's going to happen. If I go down to the actual gold, so that's the silver chart there. If I go down to the gold chart itself, the gold chart actually looks quite weak overall. So if you look at this, and the reason why I say that is if you look at that, you can see that we actually have this line down and we're building like this bit of a bear flag formation. And you've got this that sort of trend line's been broken now, and we have that little support level going on through there somewhere. So the gold chart actually looks quite weak, guys, and the gold actually looks like it may have a bit more to fall to the downside, just a little bit more, and then it might bounce. But to me, guys, looking at this gold chart overall, if I see this, and let me bring that weekly chart up here because I want to show you this. If I show you this weekly chart is obviously coming down through there. And this is the overall weekly chart through here, guys. As you can see, this is the overall weekly chart through there. And you've got sort of this sort of resistance level through here. So it looks like the market may be trying to get down to that point there. So to me, guys, gold looks like it wants to have a little bit more to the downside than the silver market does. If I go and have a look at the silver, this is let's go back to the actual silver. This is the silver price here. Let's go to the weekly chart. And I want to squeeze this up here. If I have a look at this weekly silver chart, you can see this trend line has been completely broken. This long-term trend line has been completely broken on the downside. We've now got this new trend in place through here. And maybe the silver's got a little bit more downside to go as well too. Maybe the silver's got just a little bit more downside. But once again, on the silver market, you have this whole area of sort of support and resistance all through. That's sort of like the lowest point on the support and resistance level. Go to the daily chart, you can see where we are right now. So maybe silver has a little bit more to the downside to go, but I think then that's going to be it. And then maybe that's going to have the gold going down. So what I'm looking at this market right now, looks like the market wants to have a little bit more rally, like the Dow Jones, the Russell, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. They look like they would have a little bit more upside. The metals look like they will maybe want to have a little bit more downside. Maybe the key is there. And then maybe we take off in silver, and then we have the dump in the US market. So As you can see, guys, this is my little market update. I got a little crazy sometimes, but I love this, and I just love to give you guys a lot of education. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course, and I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.